Welcome along to another episode of Racing Post Ringside, and what a fight tonight. Two generational greats. I'm not talking about my guests here, Henry Hardwicke and Gareth Freeman, but what a fight between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terence Bud Crawford. One for the ages in Las Vegas on Saturday night. Henry and Gareth join us as ever. Henry, you must be looking forward to this one.
Yep, cracking fight between two, brilliant fighters, two undisputed champions. It should be something to really look forward to. Great venue, Las Vegas, and can't wait for the action to get underway.
And Gareth, the talk here, a lot of the talk is surely going to be about weight here. We've got the undisputed super middleweight champion Canelo and the undisputed welterweight champion Terence Crawford. There's weight divisions for a reason, right?
Yeah, there are, but Crawford's bulked himself up, hasn't he? He looks pretty good ahead of this one, and I don't think it'll faze him too much. He's come up from a long way anyway, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I think you've got to give Crawford a go here.
Well, you say that, Gareth, but I've seen two different pictures of Terence Crawford in the last week or so. One absolutely ripped to shreds, and the other one, he looks like he was rocking a bit of a dad bod.
Yeah, I think there's one that's a bit of an AI one as well doing the rounds, isn't there? Where he looks like a superhero or something. But yeah, I don't know. I think he'll be good.
Right, where, when, and how you can watch this fight. It is one for the ages. We are looking at two generational greats here. It's on Netflix. If you've already got Netflix, no added cost. We're looking at about a 4 a.m. ring walk, I think, for the main event. We're in Las Vegas, 65,000-seater stadium, home of the Las Vegas Raiders as well. This is going to be some venue, Henry, for this one.
Yeah, brilliant venue. I've not actually been in it, but I've walked around it when I've been to Vegas in the past. So, great venue, and obviously we get a great atmosphere with a big crowd in, rather than sort of the Saudi events where we don't get so much interaction from the crowd. So yeah, should be fantastic. A huge occasion between two brilliant fighters, and yeah, it's just around the corner.
And Gareth, the first question I'd ask you is what the hell's going on then? So why are we seeing Terence Crawford jump up 2 weight classes to take on Canelo? Is it just a money fight? What these guys are chasing legacy, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's Turkey Al Sheikh, isn't it? He's made this match happen. It's one that people want to see, but I think the records of both guys, they both deserve to be able to take this fight for the titles if they want to. They've both put in. Well, Canelo's on 67 fights, so he's put in the hard work. He can kind of do what he wants to do now, and like Crawford, 37 coming towards the end, possibly anyway. Again, I think he's earned his shot. So, you've got to let these guys go for it if that's what they want to do.
Now, sizes apart, Henry. Let's talk styles. We know Canelo, we've seen him many a time. He's ripped through the British Brigade. We've seen him beat, all comers from these shores with his come-forward pressure style. Not seen so much of that from him recently. We know what we're going to get from Terence Crawford, just unique, talented switch hitter. He can go orthodox, southpaw. They're coming from all sorts of angles. What do you expect we're going to see from each fighter here?
Yeah, well, as you say, the last 6 of Canelo's wins have all gone a distance. So, and it's quite hard to weigh up sort of what level he's at the moment, because the last fight against William Skull, Canelo was a 66-1 chance, complete joke of a fight. I'm not even sure how Skull even got a shot really, and then before that he was 20-1 on to beat Edgar Berlanga, so who was then destroyed by Hamza Shiraz. So it's pretty difficult to gauge what sort of level Canelo's at. I thought when I first looked at this fight, I thought it might be sort of a cagey sort of affair, where Crawford might look to use his skills and his punch variety to outpoint Canelo. But then, it's 3-1 on to go the distance, which looked pretty short to me, I thought, just in terms of the prices. And also, when you consider it's a fight between a 35-year-old and a 37-year-old. So, of course, there is the consideration of the weight. Crawford's moving up. So if you thought that Canelo's power and size was going to be the difference, you could look at the option of the fight not going a distance. And on the other hand, if you think that Crawford has got all the attributes and all the abilities to need to beat Canelo, again, it could end before the final bell. So just looking at it that way, I'm not sure the fight is going to be sort of as cagey and as sort of guaranteed to go the distance as the prices suggest.
Gareth, what are you expecting from Canelo? There are some quarters suggesting he's not quite the force of old. There's been plenty of calls for him to fight Mr. Benavidez, and he's going for this fight instead.
Well, I mean, I don't know whether he'll be able to go out and knock Crawford out because pinning him down is going to be really hard. But like what he's really underrated for, I think Canelo is how good of a defensive fighter he is. So like catching him as well is going to be tough. Like I'm kind of leaning the other way to Henry here. I think it is going to be like really tactical, definitely through those first few rounds, just while they try and work each other out a bit because their IQs are so high, their boxing IQs are so high. I think it could be a bit of a chess match for a while, and then maybe in the later rounds, when someone does make a bit of an inroad, that's when you'll see a lot more action.
Well, don't sleep on Canelo. He's an incredible fighter, as of the pair of them. How do you think out there in YouTube land this one is going to unfold? Do get involved here on Racing Post Ringside. Let us know your thoughts. We're going to spin through the betting very shortly, but jump in the comments below. Make sure you give this video a share, like, and we want to hear from you. How do you think this one will go? Will it be a firefight like perhaps Henry suggests, or the chess match like Gareth suggests? Let's have a look at the betting then, chaps. Canelo 8-13, 4-7. Crawford 6-4, and the draw is 18-1. Now, I won't get your picks straight away, Henry, but how do you feel about the market? I mean, the weight is obviously the big issue, which is why Canelo is favourite. I'm sure there'd be plenty of people thinking, I think Terence Crawford is the best fighter of this generation, and I can get 6-4 here. What a bet.
Yeah, I'll probably be that way in thinking, really. I guess the weight is the consideration against Crawford. But what you do, we don't know that Crawford is not going to be able to operate at super middleweight because he's never done it before. So it's uncertain, but it's not guaranteed to be a negative. What we do know is that Crawford is an elite level fighter, and he has all the attributes that would be needed to beat Canelo. So, if you look at the last 5 wins that Crawford's achieved, they come against Madrimov, Spence, Avanesian, Porter, Brook. You can go through and pick holes in some of those opponents, but I think that's pretty much the pick of Crawford's record. And all of those victories have come in his last 5 fights. So he is operating at the peak of his abilities, even though he is 37. And I think he has the ability to beat Crawford. You have to take into fact that he's operating a different weight. But like you say, you've got 6-4 about one of the best fighters of the generation who can do the job. And, I don't think that looks a terrible price.
And Gareth, just on the tail of the tape, if you like, it will be quite surprising to some that Crawford is the elder statesman here. And when they measure up, we know Canelo's been operating at a higher weight, but height-wise, they're quite closely matched. I think Crawford just shades it, and he also shades it on the reach as well.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I mean, he's never been a massive super middleweight, has he, Canelo? He sort of worked at middleweight a lot as well earlier in his career. And like you say, the age thing, you are looking at Crawford as the younger fighter because he's had like 40 odd fights, whereas Canelo's been, he's been pro since he was too young to be a pro, really, hasn't he? He's been going on forever. We'll probably never see another one like him. So you got to give him a lot of respect for that. But yeah, I think, physicality wise, the only real concern I've got is whether Crawford can still move as well as he did at those lower weights when he's at super middleweight, and does that give Canelo a bit of an advantage that maybe we've not really thought about too much?
Well, with that dad bod, we'll see if he can still switch around and throw punches from all angles. We will soon find out, of course, on Saturday night in Las Vegas. It's a brilliant weekend of action as well, gents. I'll ask you for thoughts on the undercard. I'll start with you, Henry, if there's anything that catches your eye.
Yeah, nothing on the Vegas undercard, Dave, but there's a good show in Belfast on Saturday where Paddy Donovan, Lewis Crocker rematch. This time it's for the IBF World Welterweight title. It was one-way traffic in the first fight, and Donovan was a stronger, quicker, a much better boxer, really. Basically, he had the fight won and he had Crocker stopped before he was disqualified for hitting him after the bell, which was a bit of a controversial decision, as he said he didn't actually hear the bell. But either way, Donovan was clearly the better fighter in that fight, and he was about to get Crocker out of the ring. I don't really see how Crocker can improve from that contest. He may even regress given the punishment that he took in that fight. He was badly cut as well. And I thought Donovan was a bet to win by stoppage at 8-11. There aren't any prices on Oddschecker at the moment, so you have to hunt around for them. But 365 Coral Labrooks are all 8-11, and I thought that was quite a fair bet.
Yeah, that place is going to be rocking on Saturday night, that's for sure. Gareth, thoughts on the undercard? You can go either side of the Atlantic. What are your thoughts?
You know what? It's a pretty good undercard for if you fancy underdogs to win, there's a couple there that you could look at and think, yeah, maybe, why not? Like Canelo Callum Walsh against Fernando Vargas. Like, Vargas has got a pretty similar record, both southpaws, but my pick would be Lester Martinez against the French guy, Christian Mbili. The Martinez, he's got a really good sort of defensive style, keeps himself low. His hands are so fast, whereas Mbili's a bit more of a power puncher. And I think, I always kind of go towards the technician, and that's what I think Martinez is. He's about 6-4 as well, so that would be my pick.
Good stuff. Right, let's move on to the main event then. And before I get your best bets, listen, down the years, there's always been the school of thought that to beat Canelo in Vegas, you've got to knock him out. I suppose anyone out there wanting to play Crawford, Henry, the draw has to be some sort of runner.
Yeah, quite often, in the big fights, the draw has come home, in recent times, hasn't it? And I guess slightly, there's a chain of thought that it's hard to get a decision against Canelo, or certainly Gennady Golovkin would probably feel that, wouldn't he? But yeah, I think it probably is a runner. But looking at the fight prices, I would side with Crawford at sort of the 6-4 mark.
Right, okay. Let's get best bets then on the main event. Saturday night, two generational greats clash. It is, of course, Canelo versus Crawford in Vegas. You'll be able to watch it live on Netflix. We're thinking about 4 a.m. UK time for the ring walk. Joined by betting experts on the boxing, Gareth Freeman and Henry Hardwicke. Gareth, what's your best bet then?
I'm going to go Crawford on points. I think he's probably got the movement and the sort of, like you say, range to sort of pick off Canelo and move out of danger, as long as he doesn't get caught. But I don't think there's any way that he stops him, because, Canelo's taken those shots from Golovkin, Bivol. He's never been knocked down. He's definitely never been knocked out. So, yeah, Crawford on points is my bet for the evening.
Gareth going for the outsider. What about yourself, Henry?
Yeah, just a straight win on Crawford for me, Dave. Of course, the weight is a concern, and a slight concern. It's more of an unknown for me, really. I don't actually view it as that much of a negative. But what we do know is Crawford had all the attributes to beat Canelo. He has the stronger recent record, in my view. If you look at the record of the opponents he's fought and what they've done afterwards, and I think at 6-4, there's enough in the price to take a punt on a Nebraska man.
Well, both our experts then going for the outside of the man jumping up in weight on Saturday night in Las Vegas. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, how you see the big one going on Saturday night. Gareth and Henry, it's been an absolute pleasure once again here on Racing Post Ringside to pick your brains. We're looking forward to the action over the weekend, both sides of the Atlantic. You out there as well, do get involved with the show. Let us know your thoughts, your best bets. How will Crawford cope with stepping up in weight, and has Canelo still got it? Let us know. Enjoy the boxing over the weekend. Gamble responsibly, and we'll see you next time.